Okay, I am building a Kawasaki 99 Kawasaki STX1100 jet ski engine. This is one of the more popular sought after engines for people who do projects with jet boats and that sort of thing. People like the sound of this 1100. It goes through fuel like water. But I have a brand new crankshaft kit or remanufactured crankshaft kit from PWC Engines up in New York. That's supposed to have all new rods. You can see I've got new bearings. My other pistons just came in today. And this is a standard bore that I'm working with here on this one. Tried to keep my work area clean, blown off. Of course, I kept all this covered while I was waiting for my pistons to get in. And here's my head. And that's my gasket set. But there's my head. So I'm going to go ahead and build this engine. And one of the things that I do that some people may not, I'm old school, okay? I spray this on my head gaskets. I've never had one leak. So I swear by this stuff. You see, it's basically a copper coating that goes on the gasket. Personally, I believe it helps it seal better. I'll let this side dry. I'll flip it. I'll spray the other side. But I always use this. It's not cheap. But I always use this when I do head gaskets. And I've never had a head gasket leak. So take that for what it's worth. I use it. And I'm going to build this engine. So once again, with the pistons, I've mentioned it in another video. It's hard to do all this stuff one-handed, videoing yourself. I don't have a videographer with me. These are SBT pistons, and I'm looking for the arrow. It's on there. There it is. It's right there. I can't seem to get this to focus on it. There's an arrow on the piston. And you want that arrow pointed to the exhaust side of your engine, which will be this side. So all three arrows will be pointing that way. And again, your pistons have a little pin. It's where the rings seat up against that pin, and the rings do have a tapered edge that fits in on that pin. So I'm going to build this engine. Okay, I got the Kawasaki 1100 head on, and let me tell you, it is not an easy job. It would be nice to have a little handheld ring compressor tool of some sort that, is open-ended somehow, or two people would have made this job easier. Definitely would have been a rated R video for all the cussing. Wasn't as bad as it could have been, but I did say some bad things about this engine. But anyway, I will say for Kawasaki, not a big fan that you put all three cylinders in one. Makes it difficult. Yamaha does individual, so that it's much easier. Instead of holding this big thing, trying to get all three lined up, I did take the advice of another YouTuber who said have the middle cylinder in the lowest position to get it on. So what I did was I worked this one on first because it was up the highest when this is in the lower position. Then this one. So then I had a balancing act between the two. You got to be very careful to keep those rings lined up with those pins that are on there, and not break a ring, because a ring set's like 30-something bucks just for one piston. So the very, very hard part is over. Now, Kawasaki was kind enough to give you numbers, and that's the torque sequence for the head bolts. The lower part down to the engine block, and then look up the torque specs, which I've got to do, and we'll put this thing together. So according to the Kawasaki ski clinic. These are 25 foot-pounds. These top ones are 22 foot-pounds. So you got to get your torque wrench out. If you don't know what a torque wrench is, you ain't got no business doing this. There you go. 25 foot-pounds, 22 foot-pounds. And also on the head, you got all these nice little numbers they put on here. And that's your torque sequence, and it starts in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and goes out. Work your way out. Start in the middle, work your way out. Also, on this top head gasket, it does have a top and a bottom. It tells you on the gasket. See that word up? That means that side's got to go up with it so that you can read it. And it also tells you, see that arrow? That points toward the front of the engine. So if I put it on like this, that's backwards. Gotta go like this. And these are a tight fit. As I said, one side dropped down already. But anyway, my copper coating is nice and beautiful on there. Not gonna have any leaks, baby. I'm putting this joker together tonight.